Greetings, scholars. This is Robert Miller from 100 Day Doctoral Thesis, and I'm here to start sharing with you today about how to get things done in an efficient, effective manner, your doctoral thesis, in 100 days or so. And today is September 1, 2012, and it's when I'm embarking personally on my endeavor to complete my doctoral thesis by December 15th, taking into account a few days on weekends, holidays, and so forth, and on Sundays to take a day off. So by December 15th, I look to have my doctoral thesis complete, and I'm required to have a minimum of 100 pages in my doctoral thesis. So I'm looking at I'm looking at page a day average to complete. Now, what I want to take into account is our purpose here today is why are you wanting to do a doctoral thesis? Why am I wanting to do a doctoral thesis? What that's about, and how we can be helpful to one another, and what we can work together here to help that to happen. So I'm going to be posting 3 times a week, minimum, and looking to have some connection with you to help us to help one another, and some accountability. So each time I'm going to give to you a few tips of things I'm learning about how to leverage my time and energy to get this done effective and efficiently and well, and get that first draft completed so you can have rewrites and get prepared for your oral exams and all the things involved with a doctoral thesis. So I just want to share with you a few things here today, and then we'll look to get back with you here in a couple days. It's Labor Day weekend. To me, that means it's time to kind of get to work on this. First day of September means start of school. So that's the way of thinking about a season of life, your school year, to accomplish this. And really particularly, if you want to think in academic terms, really your fall semester. By the completion by Christmas, it would be great to have this thing done and completed so you can prepare for the spring for your oral exams with things that whatever you're going to do, have your rewrites and that type of thing. So let's make this first point. Why are you doing a doctoral? Why are you doing a PhD, in my case a doctor of ministry, whatever it is that you're working on? Is it for your academic achievement? That's a great thing. Is it to somehow better your career? Wonderful, cool. But I bet it also has something to do with something that you are passionate about, something you really want to be engaged on a deep level about. And so that's what you want to do. You want to get into it. You get engaged in this season in life, and it's just time to get it done. So why not get it done in a timely manner? So that's our purpose here, for some tips, some support, some accountability, you and I together, and for us to share strategies. So I really want you to be interactive with me, to put your comments below, and we could share those, and we have some great tips, so I'm going to share those with others as well. So I pledge to you is 3 times a week I'm going to be posting here on this YouTube channel, and provide some helpful tips and give you kind of an update where I'm at, and report in from others who may be reporting in as well to share some of their tips. So the thing I want to share with you today is some information from an author by the name of Steven Pressfield, who wrote a book called Do the Work. I read it here recently, and it was impressive on me in terms of what is it that keeps us often from doing our work, especially when we have something like a doctoral thesis, which means a lot of personal initiative to get things done. And you don't always have the pressure of a professor or someone just hanging over your head or putting the pressure on. You have to initiate things yourself and provide your personal incentives. And he makes the point in his book, which came out last year, called Do the Work, Domino Project. I have the Kindle edition myself. And he just makes the point that there is an enemy to those who have a major project they want to get done. And that enemy is resistance. And he says, he makes the point that there are forces arrayed against people who want to get something done. And those forces are things like self-doubt, procrastination, addiction, distraction, timidity, ego, narcissism, self-loathing, perfectionism. He goes on with several others. And also another factor in there is rational thought. That is, we have to set aside sometimes rational thought and get into irrational in the sense of doing things out of the ordinary to get it done. And also another things, sometimes they could be things like friends and family can be a block to us or an obstacle, and that's the pressures of life that we all have to deal with. I have kids myself, teenagers, and the things go along with that. Other things that happen. So how do you deal with all that? How do you focus on that? So what does he say? The number one thing here is the barrier or the enemy, what Pressfield says, to getting a project done. And he says the projects, he lists 11 projects that people will work on basically that are very important. 2 of them are a writing project and another one is education. He lists several others as well. But that really is what a doctoral thesis is about, is a writing project and it's your education. And resistance is one of those things that can creep in and attack you as an enemy. So here's what he says are the principles, 7 principles of resistance and 2 tests. So let's review them real quick here, and that'll be kind of our tips for the day. Then I'll report into where I stand, and then we'll get back together here in a few days. 7 principles. Principle number 1 is that there is an enemy, and it is resistance. Principle number 2, this enemy is implacable. It will get you if you allow it to. Principle number 3, the enemy is inside of you. It's in your head. It's in your gut. It's a part of you, and it's going to eat you from the inside out if you let it to. Principle number 4, the principle is inside of you, but it's not you. The you that is in play here is the part of you that wants to accomplish that great thing. Principle number 5 is that the real you must duel the resistance you. I love that analogy or that type of thinking. You know, it is a war, kind of an old-time duel that you got to shoot it out with resistance. The true nature here. Principle number 6 is resistance arises second. And we'll unpack it another time a little bit, but it basically has to do with once you initiate your doctoral thesis or whatever it is you're working on, resistance comes kind of sneakily in there. Okay? And here is the key, and here's why we're doing this here today. This YouTube channel and some of the other things we'll be doing with this podcast, I hope as well, is that principle number 7 is the opposite of resistance is assistance. Assistance, that is people working together. So, 7 principles. If you don't have the book, I invite you to get it and use this as kind of a handbook for getting your work done. Do the work, so it's the name of the book. But here's the key thing here. After these 7 principles of what resistance is, the enemy is, he gives resistance's 2 tests. Listen to these carefully. Resistance puts 2 questions to each of us and all of us. Each question has only 1 correct answer. Test number 1. How bad do you want it? So I ask you that question. Same to me. How bad do you want to accomplish that doctoral degree? How bad do you want to walk across that stage in the spring of 2013? How bad do you want it? Is it a passion that you have? Is it in your gut? You really got to get it done. If it's a yes, then we're in this together. If it's a no, then let's just set aside resistance as 1. Okay? Test number 2. Why do you want it? Why do you want it? And that's the biggie. It really is. That's the why. Why do you want it? Goes back to some things we talked about earlier. Do you want it for an academic achievement? Do you want it to better yourself in your career, financial gain? Do you want it better for some passion that you have to in this particular topic of your doctoral thesis? But have clarity about that is what I would invite you to do. Have clarity about that. So that's one of the things for the doctoral program I'm in. That was one of the things we had to do even before we started on our project, was to have clarity about our topic and our purpose. And mine happens to be about church growth. That's what I'm working on, the steps of church growth. So right now the opportunity is for you and me to work together to be an assistance to one another into what we're working on here. So my accountability to you is to let you know here it is day 1 of my personal project, and I have completed 1 page now of my project, which means I am on track as we talk right now on September 1, 2012. I am on track to complete a page a day in the next 100 days to get a minimum of a 100-page project completed, the primary draft. We're not talking here about the rewrites and your oral exams. We're talking about the primary draft of your doctoral thesis. So that's where I'm at. So I'd be interested in hearing where you're at and how we can work on that together. And I'm going to enjoy being with you and talking to you, and for us to have some chats together. My commitment to you is to be with you 3 times a week, and we'll share together, and I'll give you some practical tips that you can apply to your doctoral thesis. And I promise in the future it will not be quite this lengthy. So for right now, this is Robert Miller from 100-Day Doctoral Thesis, and I just want to share with you to be well, do good, and have a life.